This is Speak My Word Ministries Daily Pulse. I'm Travis Zimmerman. I want to share with you about a way to be the fragrant aroma of Jesus Christ. Because we stink. We stink with sin all over the place. 1 Corinthians, this is Paul, 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verses 22b to 23, where Paul says, I have become all things to all men, so that all possible means I might save some. I do this for the sake of the gospel, so that I may share in its blessing. 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 22b to 23. And the reason I point that out is because, as our company, Exponential Gain LLC, has been launching 2x30, it's the world's first social network focused on building good habits, 2x30, 2by30.com, just like 2x4, but 2by30.com. I'm cold calling into accounts where I feel like we have an opportunity to use 2x30. It's about building good habits. So as I was calling, it was one of those God moments where he just stopped me, and I realized, oh my goodness, this is something he's teaching me. As we're building good habits, that infers that there's bad habits or habits that are less than good. So, the places we've been focusing on are churches, calling into churches about reading the spiritual discipline. So I can say, hey, so I'll talk to a pastor, say, hey, I am a divinity student. I love Jesus Christ with all my heart. So I can speak to the pastor or to their staff about Jesus Christ. In another instance, I'm calling an addiction recovery center and trying to help use our product for aftercare, where people go through an addiction recovery program. I never went through an addiction recovery program, but I am myself a recovering addict. And so I could speak to that. I say, hey, I'm Travis Zimmerman. I've got this product, and as a former addict, a recovering addict, I can tell you this. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, that's right. I can speak to that. I called out to a marriage center out of state, and I was talking to them, and I said, hey, I've had struggles in my marriage. We've worked through counseling, and all of a sudden, it's just dawning on me. Oh my goodness, I'm a wreck. Addiction and recovery. And then I'm calling out to a sales organization. They say, hey, I'm a sales manager. Been a sales manager in sales for 15 years. So it was just this dawning of all these things that I've become all things to all men, so that all possible means I might save some. And again, I don't do the saving, and neither do you, but Jesus does. And I tell you, the interesting thing about these daily pulses, and we're close to 700 of them here, it's the ones where I reveal something negative or dirty or bad about myself or ugly that get the most response. So if this ends up eliciting responses, it's to God's glory. Again, I don't share these to boast. I just realize that each one of us has clay feet. Each one of us is a sinner. And by recognizing that, other people can say, this person, this man or this woman is a sinner just like me. I can kind of let down my guard and say, here's what I struggle with. And that's the building of a relationship in Jesus Christ. And that's what I want to encourage today, to be careful. Don't throw your pearls among pigs. Be careful how you share it, but always be willing to be vulnerable, because Jesus Christ, in that weakness, he will work. In your name, Father. Amen.